Okay. Sam Cohen, freelance football journalist, one of the breakout stars of the summer in this new media world. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Not at all. I mean, the figures speak for themselves. The spending speaks for itself, and a lot of the press that I've spoken to have said the same. But this transfer window has just been utter carnage, right?
Yeah, I've never seen a transfer window like it, especially on transfer deadline day. Signings and deals were happening every 5 minutes. The phone was going non-stop. For example, let's quickly touch on Mark Gahey. He was close to Liverpool. The medical was scheduled to be in London. Then the deal's off. Then Palace are thinking, should we get a replacement in time to let the deal go through? Glasner's saying, don't let the deal happen. The deal didn't happen. 5 minutes, everything changes. Deal sheets, deals, the lot.
And in terms of United's window, how would you assess the business done?
I think United will be pretty happy. I think United will be pretty happy with how the window's gone. It's fair to say they had a clear plan, and that plan was data-led, and they wanted to strengthen the attack. It's not often with Manchester United, it's fair to say, that they get their targets in early, but they did manage to do that with Cunha and Buemo and Cesco. Then on deadline day, they bought in Lamens. It's also fair to report that the goalkeeper wasn't a headline priority. But when Lamens became available and the funds were then there from outgoings, it felt like that deal made sense to Manchester United. They were also considering Emi Martinez, but that deal never went through. And to fund the Lamens deal, it was important to have exits. Those exits were Alejandro Garnacho, Anthony, Hoyland, Sancho. They were the biggest bomb squad exits. Garnacho, huge fee. Rashford's wages were fully off the books. And they kept within financial discipline and within PSR. So I think Manchester United will be very happy.
And am I right in saying that you broke the story of Cesco's arrival?
Yeah, so I broke the initial story that Benjamin Cesco was open to Manchester United despite there being no European football. It was actually, we can report now that Ruben Amorim and Benjamin Cesco held talks, and Cesco's camp, it's fair to say, felt that Cesco may actually be better off playing one game a week and having more time training on the football pitch when he adapts to a new environment, a new country, a new league. So all of this was a decisive factor in Cesco joining Manchester United.
And to hone in on you really, to the fullest extent of details that you can share, how did that come about? How do you go about getting that news first?
Sure. So obviously, a journalist can never reveal his sources. So I'm not going to say who or what gave me that piece of information. But when you get the initial piece of in, this is how I work anyway. When you get the initial piece of information in, you then cross-check it. I normally try with three other people. So then I'll have four sources in total in agreement for one story. And then, if you can, I'd like to give the football club right of reply and basically give them a heads up and say, look, this is the information I've got, just letting you know I'm about to put this out. And then if they've got any dispute, we'll go back and forth. And then ultimately we'll run the story or we won't run the story. But Benjamin Sesko to Manchester United, done deal, interest broken first.
Superb. In just lingering on this point, I mean, what are you at the center of a lot of different agendas there? Because obviously you get the club side, player and agent side. I suppose maybe increasingly, given how big business it is, the media side as well has a kind of a heavy interest in it. It's good that you say, like you sort of cross-reference with ideally a total of four sources, but can it be a bit head spinning at times?
Yeah, 100%, because sometimes your sources that you trust and that you know very, very well, sometimes you could ask one source something and the other source says that's not true, and then you have a clash of sources. So when you have a clash of sources, I normally tend to not run the story because if two sources are in disagreement, then it's unfair to either or source to run that story, even though I know the information is correct, because it's all about protecting relationships, etc., etc. And ultimately, if three sources agree and one disagrees, then it's fair enough to run that story. But yeah, normally I need to have minimum three sources in agreement.
Brilliant. I mean, I suppose the nice way of calling, or the nice term for some rumors would be fanciful, wouldn't it? And But I suppose is that can that negative be turned to a positive from your point of view because you can check it out and then if it is fanciful, you can just quickly shut it down. And then you've got a story.
Yeah, 100%. We had it with Nicholas Jackson and Manchester United. Obviously, Chelsea were open the entire window to letting Nicholas Jackson go. And then a report from a tabloid said that Manchester United have actually launched a bid for Nicholas Jackson. To my understanding, that was not true. I then posted and said Manchester United are not in for Nicholas Jackson. It is a player they appreciate because they were looking at the striker market, but no bid was launched and no further checks or progress were made. So that Nicholas Jackson to Manchester United story was completely untrue.
So I know you from people that I know to be well connected and reputable as far as United sources go. But there's so many people out there. The business is kind of awash now, isn't it? I mean, what would your advice be? If you could be impartial, what would who should people be listening to apart from yourself?
I would never, I never like to, look down on anybody else or say anybody else is not good because still myself, I'm learning. I'm still trying to be the best and the most accurate that I can be. So who am I to really say, don't listen to them and do listen to this? But I would say, obviously, you have your reputable, famous three, I'd like to call them. Your transfer journalist front three of Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, and I think personally Ben Jacobs as well. They're your transfer front three, so they're your go-tos to cross-reference stuff. Then you've obviously got Sky Sports, BBC Sports, The Athletic, who also all are very, very reputable. But it's when you see accounts just come out of nowhere and start posting information saying breaking Manchester United news at midnight. And it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you had that news, you're not going to wait till midnight. So you can normally tell.
Right, gotcha. And finally, Sam, I suppose obviously the madness of yesterday means that you're well overdue a nice lie down now. But the transfer window is still open here or there for a few more days. Do you expect any more business happening for United?
I mean, let's have a look on the future of Tyrell Malacia, who never got his move away. My understanding is that there has been previous Saudi Arabian interest, but I need to check back in with my Saudi sources to see if there's any interest there. Casemiro had no Saudi Arabian interest this transfer window, despite other reports. They made checks on Anthony, who was actually open to a move to Saudi Arabia. They called for Alejandro, they called for Marcus as well, but obviously Marcus is in Barcelona and Alejandro's gone to Chelsea. So potential for outgoings to Saudi Arabia, but unlikely as it stands.
Brilliant. Sam, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Cheers.
you for having me.